always, Brad Harmer Barnes, and I'm joined by my constant compatriot,
Ian Harmer.
Did you like our new theme music?
Yes,
Cool.
it was good.
Yeah, we've redone the intro. That's the first he's heard of it, so look forward to his reaction next episode, I guess.
Wow.
We've got big shit to talk about this week.
Little bit.
Little bit. Yeah. You're finally a little bit excited.
Well, yeah, it's quite impressive. Yeah.
So we brought along two of our favourite buddies to come and help us out.
They're arriving later.
They've just arrived on the. We've just energized from up. Wrong franchise.
Stay on message.
From Emotionally 4 Teams Gamecast and Crazy Train Podcast, Blake Harmer.
Hello.
And from basically Fire When Ready, Dave Mustill. So guys, you good?
Yeah.
Been Star Wars in?
Yeah, I've been reading up on some of the older Star Wars comics, but like from 2015. I know there were older Star Wars comics.
So the new canon.
Yeah,
stuff,
of the new canon.
stuff.
So I've been reading some of the Darth Vader stuff. I've been reading. There was like a Thrawn miniseries, which I know is meant to be based on the books, but I've been enjoying that.
How are you finding them? Because I thought with the Darth Vader, the Kieran Gillen Darth Vader series was amazing.
Really liking it so far.
Have you been reading the Star Wars series alongside it as well?
No, not at the moment. I thought I would read the Darth Vader and then possibly go back and do the Star Wars at the same time. But,
Cool.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Dave, any Star Warsing happening with you?
A bit of rebellion,
Yeah?
which is always good. Yeah, I managed to not find the hidden rebel base again.
They're on Dantooine.
God damn it, I forgot that one. And
Fortress.
should be acquiring my own set of Legion soon
Oh
as well.
wow! So we won't be seeing Dave on this show anymore. You'll have real friends to play with.
I'll just hone my tactics.
Yeah.
And get some dice that
Yeah.
constantly wrong pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Bad luck there.
Yeah. My Darth Vader will survive longer.
Yeah. Darth Vader ground with the low ground upgrade.
Shooting at me.
Yeah. Hey, the tank did all right.
It's worth watching that one.
Yeah.
Half the tank did alright.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. When you were at Broadside, where was it Darth Vader sliced for land speeder in half?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Richard doing that. Oh, crazy angry man. You been Star Wars in much?
I've been science fictioning, but
Oh really? What science fiction?
Dark Star.
Oh, what a film!
Oh.
Oh.
Yes, so not
He's not even
really.
moving back.
Exactly. I can't even make a Star Wars connection to that one. That's Dan O'Bannon, isn't it? It's
I've got nothing.
That'd be the other science fiction.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Apart from, wouldn't it be great if John Carter did an episode of Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, who does the music?
I mean, he writes for theme tunes, sings theme tunes.
Can't even do boom boom.
No, Spotify takers off. I do know if you buy the soundtrack for Dark Star on vinyl, it comes with a 7-inch of Benson, Arizona.
That's the only way you're going to get that song. I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're here for a very big, spectacular reason. We've all been excited about this for about a year, which is when it was first. Yeah, last Gen Con it was announced, I think.
Yeah.
But it didn't even announce it at Gen Con. It was like the day after Gen Con. They put a picture up on Fantasy Flight's Twitter of the Super Star Destroyer, the Executor class dreadnought. I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
And as we all know, Armada is big models, with the exception of the Falcon, which is quite small. But the first time you saw an Imperial class Star Destroyer, that seemed huge.
Yeah.
It's nearly 7 inches long, the Commodore or something. And
Yes, it's a big ship.
yeah, I think even the first time you played it just for core, the Victory one turned up, and you're like, yeah, that's big. And then the Imperial came out, and we were like,
That's bigger.
yeah. But now we get to see what's on the Fire When Ready binary load lifters. So let's bring this up. Whammy! We have the Super Star Destroyer.
That's amazing.
Finally. It's
We've lost Brad.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's some
fuck.
That's
Yeah.
the size of the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you expecting?
No, I suppose
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that really.
Yeah, I honestly thought when they announced this, it was going to be a scenario piece like the Colossals are for X-Wing. The X-Wing ones, they tend to be like a 3 to 5 part branching campaign, like when the Raider came out. This plot line was the Rebels had found this prototype capital ship, and it was a campaign around trying to take it out before it actually got successfully launched. Great idea. And when they did this, I thought, well, that's what they're going to do with this. It's going to be a campaign piece.
Scenario piece.
Nope! Tournament legal.
Oh.
Can you
So
fly
it's-
off the
if you want to borrow it for a tournament, feel free.
Oh yeah.
Can you fly
We'll
off
leave
the
the keys
map?
in for you. Can you? If anyone can fly it off the
I
map,
presume
you
it
can.
just stays on the map stationary, doesn't it?
Well, it's got to move because
Yeah. Must move.
you've got to be moving. Because
No
if you
benefit.
don't move, if you set your speed to zero,
Fire before shooting.
and you can come to a dead stop in Armada, but if you do, if you're travelling at speed 0, you cannot use any defence tokens.
Oh,
So you won't be able to redirect, you won't be able to brace, you just have to take the damage. So it's in your best interest to keep this thing moving.
that's going to be.
Albeit slow, stick it in speed 1 by all means, but yeah, you very, very rarely want to come to a dead stop.
I'm
in
guessing it
Armada.
can take a few hits as well.
I mean,
Well, I think
I'm
it's going
hoping
to
it's-
survive.
I'm hoping it's got a reasonable amount of hit points, but if anyone can get it blown up, it's us.
Yeah.
I wonder what its turn circle is like.
I was going to say, if anyone's going to fly it off the board, it'll definitely be it.
I've got a bad rep about this.
Dave's the only one's done it on camera.
Yeah.
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 Basically, he's just
I-
desperate.
I
to
disavow
play
any
even
knowledge
when
of
it's
me
his own
doing
team. What are we expecting from this?
A lot of firepower.
Yeah, it's going to be
Galaxy
biting.
Gun, anyone?
I presume
So
Tarkin.
we've got
is it?
upgrade cards. Tarkin is already in Armada, but that's not to say there won't be a variation.
So, I mean, time frame wise, Tarkin would have been around when these things were in space.
yeah, when do we first see one chronologically? Is it in the Star Wars comic? On screen,
Onto the
Empire,
Empire.
but I've got a feeling it might be, chronologically, it might be in the comic between A New Hope and Empire.
Oh yeah.
Because the Executor is, I mean, there are about 12 of these.
Mm-hmm.
In new canon, there's about 12 of these in existence.
Dotted across the
Yeah.
the
But I
galaxy,
think
yeah.
I find it, to save a little impact on my wallet, I'm going to say it's very rare they ever deploy more than one to the same theatre.
Yes.
Bearing in mind the Battle of Endor had one,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which was a significant battle.
Hmm.
I mean, even in Rebellion, I don't think you can have more than 3 on a table, can you?
You may only one, maybe is it 2 in Rebellion? There may only be one model in Rebellion.
Oh, really?
It's really rare. I mean, you get
Two
used to
Star
it.
Destroyers. Oh, you got the Instincts in the expansion here, didn't you?
And 2 Death Stars, obviously.
2 Death Stars, yeah.
Hmm.
I think you might be able to have 2. I might be wrong there.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It might be wrong, might be
Yeah, so
wrong.
the old canon they had like 2 or 3, yeah,
It
so
is-
it's
It is,
fucking huge.
it is rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. The paint job never needed a lot. It needed to be grey and black, which is
Yeah.
what it is. But we'll break
Needs-
it open.
needs some
We'll
lights
take a
in it.
quick look, will you? And we'll just throw an A-wing at it at some point. Again. This is fucking huge. With a recommended retail price of £184.99.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a big bit of kit, so we're gonna take a look. But we normally, I always say, I don't factor the cost of stuff into reviews, because if you're into your gaming, you think nothing will drop in 60 quid, maybe even 100 quid on your hobby. That's what you do. But when it's exceptionally cheap or exceptionally expensive, I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
And this is Armada is a premium system anyway. Armada is not a cheap game to play. It's not a cheap
No,
game to
it's
get
not an
into.
investment anyway.
But this is significant. I mean, if there was a 200 quid expansion came out for Legion, we'd mention that.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, considering the core set's what, 90 is it? Or 80, 90?
Retail
80
price about 90.
Yeah, about 90, yeah. Is this testing the market for a better?
Could be. Maybe.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah,
Or ATPE, something like
difference
that.
would be the Armada's not quite to scale because they've had to keep
Yeah,
the
they
scale
have almost
slightly
like weight
tweaked.
bands, don't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
Whereas Legion is to scale.
Mm.
That's
Going
going
to be something big.
It's just going to be a leg.
significantly bigger. Yeah. Well, I figured you could get the old Kenner toy
Yeah.
attack, and that would probably be not far
Not
off.
far off.
That's the big
But that's
toy.
kind of,
Yeah,
that's huge.
What it needs is a Rancor then.
They are like gold
Yeah.
dust at the moment,
Yeah.
those Kenner ones,
Oh, yeah.
on eBay and other sites. I think
Wonder
people,
why.
people know what they're going for now.
So the Executus class Star Dreadnought is the ultimate symbol of Imperial might, dwarfing even the mighty Imperial class vessels and armed with thousands of ion cannons and tail lasers. And I do love that shot in Empire where all you see is a shadow falling across. Because A New Hope makes such a big thing of how big the Imperial Star
Yeah,
Destroyers
it puts
are.
shadows
And then it
into
just
shadow.
starts, the shadow starts crossing across, and it's brilliant. These terrifying ships, known throughout the galaxy as Super Star Destroyers, in addition to boasting enough raw firepower to crush any rebel ship foolhardy enough to stand against it, a Super Star Destroyer also serves as the Empire's ultimate command ship. The most famous example of its class, the Executor, is the personal flagship of Darth Vader. Before its might, the rebellion will fall. This pack includes everything, which is reassuring. You need to add one Superstar Destroyer to your game. Not a complete game, Star Wars Armada core set required to play. Imagine getting a core set and then a Superstar Destroyer just for shits and giggles. Jabba Chimera, nope. Jabba Home 1, nope. It's going to take on Tantive 4. What are we expecting, Blake? You excited?
Yeah, I'd be interesting to. I'll put it away. Sorry. I'd be interested to see how it actually scales, like in terms of points and all that sort of thing.
Really?
I assume it would be what's the standard game size?
It used to be 300 and it got errata to 400, so the current normal game is 400.
So I would assume this to be about 400 then, unless it's more.
You say that, but they're going to have a flotilla around them.
They would have
You've got to put.
other support
You're going to have
ships.
to put. You're going to have to put.
But this thing is going to be.
Don't have to, but you
That's why I'm
most
saying.
people will.
I'm assuming this thing's going to
should be surrounded by TIE fighters and TIE interceptors.
But I'm thinking about game balance. If you were to ever, as you said, this is meant to be like tournament play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you're going to need to have a fair amount of rebel ships
I
to
wonder
bring
if
it down.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's
Or one
low.
A-wing.
I wouldn't be surprised if its lowest wattage is 400, and then there's options for bigger games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, grand tournament size things. Yeah.
It's director somebody there in a white cape. That's
Oh,
exciting.
What do you think?
Right, shall we slice this open and take a look?
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. So here it is for Superstar Destroyer, finally. Dave, boner away. Okay, a terrifying warship, according to the instruction manual, and I have to agree. It's just over 2 foot long, which is the largest miniature we own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miniature's a generous term. This product introduces a ship with a new size class and new components. This expansion has a 4th size class of existing
What do
ship
they call it?
classes of small, medium, large. The ship included in this expansion is a huge ship. Ships of this class feature one ship placed on top of two 76 by 129mm bases. Huge ship rules. Yes, I think we can all agree it does. Huge ship follow all the rules governing ships in the Star Wars Armada rule booklets. A huge ship consists of 2 ship bases, a ship model, a ship token, and a ship sheet, all of which we can see here. A ship sheet contains the same elements as other ship cards and is treated as ship card for purposes of rules and game effects. So it can be played at 4 wattages. So at 220 points, we have the Star Dreadnought Command prototype.
That's still quite a lot of money points compared to
Yes.
a destroyer.
You can fly it at 250 as the Star Dreadnought Assault prototype. We can fly it at 381 as the Executor 1 class Star Dreadnought. And we can fly it at 411 points as the Executor 2 class Star Dreadnought.
Oh yes.
Which, interestingly, at none of these can it turn. It can only plough straight ahead up to speed 2 unless you give
Is
it
that-
a
that's-
well-timed navigate order.
Okay.
All wattages, its defence capabilities are 2 brace, 2 redirect and 2 contain. Its anti-shipping it's anti-squadron fire varies, but at its maximum wattage it has an anti-squadron of 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black. Which we
Cop that.
don't forget, you roll it individually, so that each squadron you fire and it's a 3 dice attack on.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah,
Its lower wattage, it's got 22 hull points, and its higher wattages has a staggering 33 hull points. We've never seen anything that powerful before.
That's
Um,
nearly 3 times the
Yeah.
biggest Star Destroyer.
It has an engineering stat of either 4 or 5, depending on what wattage you fly it as. It has a squadron rating of either 5 or 6, depending on wattage. It has a command ranking of 4 across all wattages, so it could bank 1 of each order token.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
You see, it's a huge crew, you know, which is only fair. The huge ship has 6 firing arcs. In addition to the front, left, right and rear facing firing arcs, huge ships have 2 auxiliary firing arcs, right auxiliary and left auxiliary, which are the 2 ones coming out from rear base, which
Wow.
beautiful assistant Dave is pointing to. The huge ship has 6 hull zones. In addition to the front, left, right, it's also got the right auxiliary and left auxiliary hull zones for taking fire as well. But you know, they've got a reasonable amount of shields on them. Some of them have up to 6 shields to a hull zone as well. Game effects that specifically refer to the left or right hull zones do not apply the effects to auxiliary hull zones, so they are judged to be separate hull zones. But you can draw, and so you draw fire to and from them as normal. Extra ability, we also have a pass token, which is once per round. When it is a huge ship's turn to activate, it may receive a pass token to pass its turn, and instead of activating, its opponent activates a ship instead. A ship with a pass token will still activate during the ship phase, but you can defer it so you don't get dogpiled like you do. And to be honest, it's a mechanic I could see being introduced in Legion as an official tournament play. A lot of people are going for activation spam.
Yeah. Yeah, a number of times I've moved ships forward in Armada and they've managed to be caught out by my opponent, then nipping in and...
Yeah, I mean, the Batman Miniatures game is a similar system. If you're outnumbered, then the person with fewer models gets a number of passes to try and keep everyone active, which makes sense for a backyard rumble, and it'd be fun to see this kind of introduced. It's a little bit warped, do we need to boil it? The following rules modify the
Have you got a cauldron?
modify the setup rules found in page 10. These rules only apply to large ships. Deploying ships. When a player deploys a huge ship, part of its base must be touching that player's play area. The huge ship may extend outside of that player's deployment zone, but its base must be completely within the setup area. A huge ship cannot be deployed to overlapping obstacles. Squadrons placed within distance 1 or 2 of a huge ship that extends beyond its player's deployment zone must also be placed within distance 1 or 2 of that player's deployment zone. He's going in. I wouldn't.
Oh, I would. I'll be doing fly past by now. I'm hoping that there's a rule somewhere that says if you collide with terrain, scenery, that you just wipe it out and you can ignore it entirely.
I'm looking up at. Is that interesting? I was going, it's got a full command. I wonder what the crew is, and according to Wikipedia, which is the closest we've got to an official encyclopedia, its crew is thousands.
Thousands. Thousands.
An unspecified number.
Plus
Lots.
stormtroopers. Plus TIE interceptors, TIE bombers, and dropships and walkers. It's a tank.
Yeah.
Well, that's mental.
Yeah.
That's insane.
When a huge
How did you do the catering?
When a huge when a huge ship reveals its command dial, also assign that corresponding command token to the ship. So it can spend and bank an action each turn.
Yeah.
Oh, so it never actually runs out of...
And it has its take and its it.
Okay.
So it's always going to have
A huge ship can perform up to 3 attacks during its activation instead of up to 2. It cannot attack from the same hull zone more than once per activation.
Yeah.
The following rules modify the ship movement rules found in the Armada rules. These only apply to huge ships. Due to the size of huge ships, some manoeuvres cause the ship to overlap the manoeuvre tool, whether it is placed on either side of the ship. When performing the determine course step of a ship's manoeuvre, any course that will cause the ship to overlap the manoeuvre tool is an illegal manoeuvre and cannot be performed to determine a different course instead. When placing the manoeuvre tool, insert the guides of the first segment into the notches on one side of the rear ship base, so you measure from here.
Ah, okay.
Which, you're only going to be travelling up speed 2, that's not as hindering as that previous rule makes it sound.
Yeah.
When placing the ship at the joint corresponding to its spear, slide the notches of the rear ship here, so you steer from the rear. Scoring. When players determine their scores at the end of the game, a score includes half of the total fleet point cost round of each crippled enemy huge ship in the play area. A huge ship is crippled if it has a number of damage cards equal to at least half of its hull value rounded up, so you can get half victory points for doing half damage, which normally you can't.
Sense. Yeah.
A crippled huge ship's fleet point cost includes the cost of all upgrades, to the surprise of no one. A huge ship cannot equip upgrade cards but add upgrade icons to the upgrade bar. They're few and far between anyway. They also get new types of upgrades called Fleet Command. And some of the upgrades take up more than one slot, but we've seen that with some releases before. As we say, Contain converts a crit into a normal hit. That's expansion designed by Alex Davey, who's the guy behind Star Wars Legion.
Is that it?
We're a big fan of this guy already.
Yeah.
So we've got some upgrade cards as well. Are you excited? Admiral Piet, who isn't an admiral, unsurprisingly.
I've heard of him.
Yes, when a friendly ship spends only a command token to resolve a command, you may exhaust this card. If you do, that ship resolves that command as if it had spent a dial of the same type instead. You can take Emperor Palpatine as an admiral, 35 points. After deploying fleets, place one defence token of each type on this card. At the start of each ship phase, you may discard one of these tokens. If you do, until the end of the round, if an enemy ship or squadron spends a matching token during its spend defence token ship, discard that token. So you can battle meditation, just blocks them.
Yeah, force powers. Good idea.
You can have Emperor Palpatine as a captain as well, but not as well. You can't do both because he's unsurprisingly, he's got a unique modifier.
It's Darth Vader demoted as well.
It's
Dark Empire's not canon. There's, when an enemy ship or unique squadron declares you as the target of an attack, it must spend one of its defence tokens if able to. So you've got to burn a defence token to be able to open fire on Emperor Palpatine's ship.
Wow.
This is the one I heard about a few months ago, and I think it is the single most thematic card I've ever seen in Armada, which is Darth Vader as a captain. He's already allowed as a captain, but this one is while a friendly ship at distance 1 to 5 is attacking a ship, it may discard one of its captain or admiral cards other than Darth Vader to re-roll any number of dice in its attack.
What do they call
You are
that?
in command.
Has it got a name?
Just Darth Vader as a captain, yeah.
Apology accepted.
Admiral Ozzel. At the start of the first round, you may execute a speed 1 manoeuvre. Well, that's nice.
It's clumsy as he's stupid.
Come out of hyperspace. Director Krennic. Spend a concentrate fire order or token. While attacking at medium-long range, if you spent a dial, you may also re-roll any number of red dice in your attack pool. If you spent a token, you may also re-roll up to 2 red dice in your attack pool. Nice little buff. He's only 8 points. If you've got someone who's got a decent amount of red dice, and you're going to be ready, aim, and fire.
Well, these things get 1 or 2 red dice.
Oh yeah, I think they've got a couple.
Yeah.
Lyra Wessex. When you are dealt a face-up damage card, you may spend 1 repair token to flip that card face down without resolving its effect. And that is... Yeah, you've got to spend a token to do it, but otherwise it's not a discard. As long as you've got a repair bank. You're laughing. Commander Gerrant, who's not someone I'm familiar with off the top of my head. While you are defending, the attacker cannot resolve critical effects. After you perform an attack against a ship, discard this card. Flight controllers. Spend a squadron order. The anti-squadron armament of each squadron that you activate is increased by 1 blue dice until the end of its activation. Just lose ion, that's probably pretty handy for bombing runs. Veteran gunners. While attacking, you may exhaust this card to reroll all dice in your attack pool for 5 points.
Wow.
Boarding engineers. When you reveal a command, you may discard a squadron dial or token and this card to choose one enemy ship at close range. Look at its face down damage cards and flip a number of them face up equal to your engineering value 1 at a time. That's nice.
You get to choose which one.
You get to take a boarding action and blow bits of the ship up. Why is it taking this long to get boarding actions in Armada?
Yeah.
Oh, tell a lie, the last expansion there was a Darth Vader boarding action with the whatever one's after Rogue One. Well, yeah, you can do a corridor scene. I'll dig up the card for you.
Oh yeah.
Point defense reroute we've seen before. While attacking a squadron at close range, you may re-roll your crit icons. It's normally crits don't count against squadrons normally. Rapid launch bays. Before deploying fleets, you may set aside a number of friendly squadrons up to your squadron value next to your ship card. Spend a squadron order. For each squadron you would activate with this command, you may place one of your set aside squadrons within distance 1. It cannot move this activation, but you can get closer up and just fire off like a Catherine Hill of Death, which is what the Gazanti was fun to do in X-Men.
I believe Gazanti get that card in X-Men Armada as well.
Yeah. Heavy ion emplacements. Spend a blue crit. You may exhaust this card. If you do, the defending hull zone and each adjacent hull zone loses a shield. Quad turbo laser cannons. While attacking, if at least 1 red die has an accuracy icon and 1 red die set to the accuracy icon to your attack pool.
Nice.
X-17 turbo lasers. While attacking, if the defender spends a redirect token, it cannot suffer more than 1 damage on hull zones other than defending hull zone. That's infuriating. Well, normally if you redirect, You can soak damage on other shields.
Yeah.
This will stop, but you can only soak 1 point of damage and everything else goes on the original target.
So it basically concentrates it on
Yeah,
one
That's
side.
quite
Yeah.
nasty.
Entrapment formation, these are fleet commands, which are the new type introduced for this game. Entrapment formation. At the start of a ship phase, you may discard this card or spend a navigate token. If you do, until the end of a round, each friendly ship may change its speed by 1 during its determining course step. All fighters, follow me. At the start of a ship phase, you may discard this card or spend a squadron token. If you do, until the end of a round, the speed of each squadron that a friendly ship activates is increased by 1 to a maximum of 5 until the end of that squadron's activation. Shields to maximum. At the start of a ship phase, you may discard this card or spend a repair token. If you do, until the end of a round, before a friendly ship reveals a command, it may recover 1 shield. 6 points, that's pretty cool. Intensify firepower. At the start of a ship phase, you may discard this card or spend a concentrate fire token. If you do, until the end of a round, while each friendly ship is attacking a ship, it may change 1 die to a face of a hit icon and no other icons. So auto hit.
Pretty good.
And we also have title cards. So each of these can only be used on the Superstar Destroyers, and the title cards are generally quite cheap. What's interesting here is the cheapest one is the Executor for 2 points,
Okay.
which is you can be assigned any number of command tokens of any types instead of a number of command tokens equal to your command value, so you can just keep banking.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good that's going to be if you're only playing 6 turns.
Mm,
You know, do you need to bank?
well, if we're doing a convention game, you can go infinite turns.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eclipse. When an enemy ship overlaps you, the enemy ship suffers a face-up damage card instead of a face-down damage card. 4 points, Ravager. Spend a Concentrate Fire token. Your Concentrate Fire tokens can either re-roll 1 attack die or add 1 die to your attack pool. If you add a die, that die must be of a colour already in your attack pool.
Yeah.
And finally, for 8 points, Annihilator. While attacking a squadron, you may re-roll 1 attack die.
Reroll's always good.
Yeah, there's a serious amount of upgrades at 24 upgrade cards.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean 2 of them are Palpatine.
Yeah. I'm even more gutted that it's so expensive now. I want a lot of those
I wasn't-
cards. Damn it.
I wasn't even thinking about him being on board.
Well, if there's anywhere he's going to be safe.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true.
Or possibly on a Death Star. No,
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's interesting, there's 4 different Star Destroyers were named there.
To queue up in the canteen, there's thousands of people in there.
So there we have it, the Super Star Destroyer expansion for Star Wars Armada. Dave, you're possibly more excited about this than even me. Has it lived up to your expectations?
That's freaking awesome. I have to say that.
It's absolutely terrifying. Actually,
Yeah, when we actually play a game of this, and you're
Yeah.
playing Rebels and this turns up on the table.
I'm not sure I've got enough Rebel ships to take this on. I'm not sure I've got that level of
Well,
points.
if I already has a few, you're more than welcome
Okay.
to borrow.
We'll let
But,
you
yeah.
come.
I thought, well, to be honest, I thought you'd want to take this.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
obviously, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to take it on actually.
Yeah, okay,
Just to see.
Just flick an A-wing on it like Seal Thing flicks, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the model stands out. The model is stunning.
Yes.
It really is. Yeah, you can get really close to it. And it's still.
Yeah, it is one. It's weird. The closer you get to it, the more detail you see. They could have copped out so much more.
Yeah,
They could have made it more toy-like, but they haven't.
Yes.
Yeah, there's potentially why it's.
You know,
it costs so
we
much
have got
money.
engine flare as well. It took them forever to start doing that.
Yeah. But you've got the that level of detail
Nice.
Yeah.
means it will be a limited run, which is why
Yeah.
it's so expensive.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
yeah.
you justify the cost. You're not going to have to make that many of them.
No,
but it seems like it never runs out of orders, basically, does it?
like, no, enough crew to keep it
If
flying.
it uses one, it just gets it anyway.
Well, each time you do an normally you pull your turn over and you say you spend or bank,
Yeah, yeah.
it always spends and always banks.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
But yeah, as well as the model, you've got that set of cards, and that's
Yeah,
There was
some really killer cards in
There
there.
was, yeah.
yeah. So even at its lowest wattage, at its front arc is 4 red, 4 blue.
That's still quite a punch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And squadron of 2 blue is going to slow them down.
Mm.
So and that's as a prototype. Yeah, the 2 variants of the executive class. It's 33 hit points.
Yeah. But that makes sense that you can get points for doing half because you're only going to have
Oh,
that
yeah.
and not have anything else
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah.
But that executive front arc, 10 dice.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
red, 5 blue. Plus upgrades.
Yeah, it's just mad.
That's naked, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, imagine that with upgrade
And
cards
the-
as well.
Really, there's nothing else missing from the rebel side to even really match it. It's like home
But
one.
I kind of know home one. I've got a home one. It's about that long.
Yeah,
It's,
no, but as firepower wise, it's
Mm.
nothing with
no.
that.
The Rebel Assault Frigate has got a punch to it. I don't know if it's got that much of a punch, but I have always felt with Armada, and more so with recent Legion releases, I feel the Empire can play aggressively, and the scenarios are weighted in favour of the Rebels. Generally, in Armada, there's more ways for the Rebels to score victory points than the
Yes.
scenario itself. The Empire can just smash them to pieces,
Yeah,
but they have fewer opportunities to score points outside of that.
right. So you can actually decimate them.
Yeah, yeah. If you,
The other ships.
Armada doesn't work as a straight fight. You need to be playing the scenarios, or it isn't really balanced. Yeah, we've done a fun game at the convention, but it wasn't the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
So realistically, if we were going to have a flotilla, I mean, at its most expensive, it's 411 points. You're realistically looking at an 800-point bill. For
You'd
a
think it
flotilla,
would have.
aren't you?
It would have at least a couple of Star Destroyers with
You think
it,
it's going to have it?
and a support ship, and
Yeah. I mean, what's a third of 800?
third of 900.
It's
300, 300. So that's what I say, about 250, 230.
Yeah, so you could have that many points of squadrons. And squadrons aren't expensive. So you could play what, 900-point game?
Yeah.
When we did a convention, we did 1,000.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's obviously going to make up a large chunk.
Well, that's a big old. Yeah.
Both
Especially
in terms of real estate and points.
like, it depends what admiral you choose.
If
Yeah.
you're playing that level of game, you just beef that up to 500 points, wouldn't you? You just
Yeah.
hit those cards head
Yeah, I'll
on.
hit the upgrades. You
How
could
many
get
upgrades can you actually have on the bottom there? Is that 12?
12 upgrades. Yeah. 4 captains.
4 captains.
One for each card.
One gunner, 1 fleet upgrades, 2 laser cannon, 2 ion, and 2 anti-squadron.
Wow.
What do those titles and all that come under, or they just set
Titles. Any ship can take 1 title as long as it's of that vehicle type.
Okay.
So those ones can only be used with a superstar destroyer. They're all locked to the so there's no wild titles.
Oh, right, no, I
So
didn't know if
they're
they
locked to
took
that,
up some.
yeah.
I didn't know if they took
that's,
up any
that's
of
in
them.
addition to your upgrades.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like as it plays, it's
It
going to play
used
like
to-
a big slow ship as well.
Get on a very large map for me.
6 by 3 is standard.
Wow. Even so.
You
Yeah.
want to be
You're just
going
gonna.
lengthways.
Yeah. It only
Yeah,
has
yeah.
speed
We've
2.
done that
doesn't it?
before.
Then you got speed 2 anyway. But
It's not going to travel far. I don't think realistically not many people are going to fly above speed 1 because you just want to use it as a tractor of death.
yeah. Yeah.
There's really no real. When are you going to put this into high gear?
Hmm.
But also, let's also remember that in addition to having 5 or 6 shields in each hull zone, in addition to having 33 hit points, its defence capabilities are double brace, double redirect, and double contain.
Yeah. This is things.
What do you mean it can't evade? So
Thematically,
you can't spend more than 1 defence token of a type in a single attack, but even so it contains 2 attacks at brace, 2 attacks if redirect and contain.
so thematically, you read through it, and as you're reading the cards out, and you look at the way you move it, and it works like an ultra massive ship. That they've really gone over the rules to make it ponderous and huge and scary.
Yeah, I mean, you are absolutely never going to use this in every single game of Armada.
Yeah.
But on the
I'd
game,
like to try.
I
Well,
feel
I've got
like
a
the
feeling
games
it's
you
going to
do,
be
you're
on
gonna
our
remember-
next game of Armada.
Well, we'll get a game of Armada in the
Yeah, I
can
think
do
so.
soon, then,
Yeah.
shall we?
People want to see this.
Yeah, Dave wants to fight it.
He does.
Would you like to fight it?
No.
It's going off the map.
Would you like to play it?
I'd like to fly
Okay, cool.
Gets
Let's see if
taken
we
out
get
by
Wade
Wade.
in. He's not played for a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
He might be a bit busy at the moment.
Well, he's, well, get cut. So, so guys,
So big investment.
any concerns about it? The price tag is significant,
Yeah.
but I can see where the money's gone with both the size and detail of this model.
I think if you love your Armada, then it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. You'd buy this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
In all but name, it's a limited edition as well, because you remember back in the 90s when everything came out limited edition, everything was limited edition, it was a phase. And I think they've kind of grown out of that, but let's face it,
There's
not
not
everyone's
gonna
going to
be a
have this
big
who has
print.
Armada.
It's not going to be financially viable for them to do a big print run of
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I
For a
would love to
while,
have one.
people were saying pre-orders only.
Yeah.
They were just going to honour pre-orders. They weren't going to
Oh,
hold
really?
stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes sense because a shop will be like, if the shop can't sell it, it's lumber with it, and that's a lot of even for
yeah.
retail.
I mean, maybe in 5 years this will be worth loads or nothing. Please continue to support Armada. Well, we've got 2 new Armada releases announced to Gen Con as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and Clone Wars Armada is on the horizon.
Okay.
That-
No,
that-
no, well, yeah, why not?
Malevolence. Picture for malevolence. Would be great. I do think, although I agree, as everyone's going, we can't ignore the fact that this is a significant price tag on this.
Yeah.
And are you going to get £185 worth of play out of it?
I think you got some joy just getting out of the box.
It will come down to how much you play Armada. This is tournament legal. I mean, if you want to take this to a tournament, unless you know your local game destroyer that says no Superstar Destroyer, I mean, I kind of hope it's balanced as well for that, because I'd hate for this to become a bit pay to play, and the person who can afford a £200 ship has got an edge over the competition.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's where the lower wattage 220s come in. If this does feel like playing 220 points of anything else, and you know they stuck an extra 6 months on its development to make sure that wasn't going to be a problem.
Yes. Yeah, but Fantasy Flight have really supported Star Wars really well, and they strive. The first interview I read with them, or with one of their head honchos, I don't think it was Corey Casey, I think it was someone else, but they said they were holding games back. They held X-Wing back to make sure it was balanced before they released it, and I'd like to think that everything I've ever played from Fantasy Flight, certainly Star Wars wise, feels really well balanced.
Yeah,
they don't overbalance anything.
There's very, very few Fantasy Flight games where I've been kind of about them. Even some of the weird ones like Android, I came out going, I know it's a hard sell, but I like this. It's almost like prog board gaming. Android's a weird one, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly none of the Star Wars stuff. Every single Star Wars game they've brought out has felt like Star Wars. You had reservations about Outer Rim, and as soon as you started playing it, it felt like Star Wars.
I did. I was glad it was a standalone, real Star Wars game.
Yeah,
rather
they excel.
rather than a badge over something else.
So they excel across the board at genre emulation, from the stuff like the Pirates and Scum and Villainy of Outer Rim, the constant struggle against the darkness of the Lord of the Rings card game, to the stuff like Legion feels like the Battle of Endor every time or Battle of every time you play it. They are so good at genre emulation and so good at fan service as well. And this is another hunk of that, and it gets a bonus point because Krennic's in it.
More cake.
Yeah,
You do get an awful lot of cards.
that is a lot of cards for an upgrade.
I mean, okay, I know some are obviously Superstar Destroyer specific, but obviously some.
You'd be
are-
annoyed if I weren't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Did we
mean,
spot 2 cards that are repeated?
I think 2
Everything else is
repeats,
new?
yeah. But the other thing you've got to bear in mind is, like I said it half jokingly at the start, if you only own a core set, you can buy this and it will work.
Yeah.
You might have some point balancing problems, but
yeah,
it
my
will work.
floor everything you have.
Yeah.
but
But Fantasy Flight are very, very good at. So I don't know of any game they've done that hasn't been totally modular. I don't know if they've ever done one. This expansion is out, but you also need this expansion as well. So far, everything they've done, you can plug into a core set.
Just go straight away.
Yeah.
No, I am surprised because I originally thought this was going to be a scenario game. I really did.
Yeah, but I thought that and all, but I also then thought, well, compared to X-Wing and to a lesser extent Legion, Armada is always a scenario game.
I suppose. Yeah.
And we'd also to remember that the next Armada releases.
What's that?
It's a boxed campaign. No
Okay.
models, a boxed campaign, which we're going to play, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have I forget what it is. I think it's something to do with the Outer Rim. But the last one we did was Outer Rim. This one is
The Carillion Conflict.
Carillion Conflict.
That's
I've got.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that came with a wall chart of the galactic map that you would just mark off the areas you took as you played in between games. So it's, remember the video game Empire at War?
Yeah.
It was like that. Yeah, you actually had logistics to factor into it as well. Dave's got another boner. So, the really important question is Star Wars Armada Super Star Destroyer expansion, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Can someone lend me a third thumb?
Blake can.
It is
We
fantastic.
both know that's not your thumb, Dave. Yeah, this has met all expectations.
Yes, yeah.
And I know you're always on the back foot of that Armada, but you want to play with this now.
I am. I would
willing
admit
to
that I am
slowly.
on the back foot of Armada, but if I had to choose, I'd go for Legion every time. But,
Yeah, that's fine to have preference, that's fine.
but no, it's just amazing. Amazing
Yeah.
bit of kit. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Just don't want to drive it off the table.
if anyone can, you, Rob, Blake, Dave, everyone can.
And slowly.
Yes. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this unboxing of the Executor, the Superstar Destroyer, Executor Class Star Dreadnought, however you want to call it. If you want to keep up with what we're doing, then you can check out all the previous episodes of our show on emotionally14.com and on Emotionally14's YouTube channel, which is in all probability where you're watching this, unless you stumble onto us via Board Game Geek, in which case, hello, go to emotionally14.com and watch the rest of the episodes, or Emotionally14's YouTube channel. If you want to follow the show and see some behind the scenes stuff, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at FireWhenReadyUK. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, you can add me on Facebook at facebook.com/BradHarmerBonds, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RealBradHB. Ian, where can people find you?
Instagram is Great Old One, and HeroClix UK.
Yeah, which is the other show we do. We
do
also
that
do
as well.
HeroClix and
Next
maybe
week.
other things. Yeah,
Next week.
Next week we'll do HeroClix. Yeah. Blake, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, and also you can find me on Instagram at Harmer the Appreciator.
Yeah, you can Twitter.
I can't be bothered anymore.
Dave, where can people find you apart from in the Superstar Destroyer?
You could find me on Instagram, Dave DCLXVI, and on Facebook, I'm the Milton Road Board Game Club.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Yeah, we're still going. We'll see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.